Hi, my name is Caroline. I am pleased to present this video in partnership with www.allfreechristmascrafts.com. In this video, we'll turn this old thrift store tissue box cover into a brand new Christmas tissue box cover. The materials you'll need for this project are 2 pieces of scrapbooking paper. These are both 12 by 12, something to measure with, a pencil, your Mod Podge mat with a foam brush. This is a tissue box cover I purchased at my local thrift store, scissors. You'll also need a hot glue gun and some ribbon to cover up the edges. My first step is to measure my tissue box by 5 inches wide, approximately by 5 inches in length. So all the way around, this tissue box is approximately 19 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the top of my tissue box, which is a 5 inch by 5 inch square. I'm going to cut the length of my tissue box cover, which is 5.5 inches. I'm going to cut 2 strips, both of which will be 5.5 inches in width. Alright, so now we have the top of our tissue box, and then we have 2 strips to cover up the sides of our tissue box. So the next step is to get the top of our tissue box to fit exactly here. So let's put this down, and then I'll take my pencil and trace out the center piece right here, and also the corners as well. Let's first start with the corners. And then now I'm gonna do the inside. Taking my scissors, cutting the corners that I just drew, that I just traced. Next, I take my scissors and I cut out the middle of the tissue box cover. So here is our cutout, and then our sides as well too. So now we're going to use some Mod Podge to get this going. I'll start by using my Mod Podge on the top of my tissue box cover. Trying to cover everything with a good coat, and then put my paper right on top there. Smooth it out. Use my fingers, press out any air bubbles. And then I will go around with the dry part of my brush to try to pick up any edges. And then I'll put on a thin layer of Mod Podge on the top here. And then next I'll start working on the sides. So I'm going to go to about the halfway point on each side. And then I'll lay down my strip of paper. Now this paper doesn't seem to mind if it's upside down or right side up. Try to go for paper that's not too picky. So now I'll start adding more Mod Podge to the other side of my tissue box holder. I want to make sure I get all my corners in, and I'm going to add more over the paper because this is going to overlap. Alrighty, so next I take my next piece of paper, and I want to smooth it down with my fingers and with my straight edge, and then push it down with my fingers. Let's do this side here. Make sure I've got enough glue this down. Righty. Now, so it's going to be a little rough around the edges here, but that is okay because we're going to cover up this edge with a ribbon. Now, I'm going to go one more time around my little tissue box cover with my Mod Podge. And it will dry clear. And now we'll let this sit and dry for about 30 minutes to an hour. Now that my Mod Podge is completely dry, now I know my Mod Podge is completely dry because Mod Podge dries completely clear. Next, I take a ribbon, a matching ribbon, and my hot glue, and I attach the ribbon all the way around the top edge of my tissue box cover. Thank you for watching. This video has been brought to you in partnership with www.allfreechristmascrafts.com.